Adding shapes to your pages is wonderful with the Curvy Cutter. You want to add some contrast through your shapes. So we have a tool here that will add 3 different shapes for you. It'll do ovals, circles, and squares with rounded corners. Let me show you how this item works. We start with the cutting tool, and it comes unassembled, so you need to take the handle and snap it into place. It's very easy to do. You have a little post right there. All you're doing is snapping it right on top of the tool, and it goes right into the spot there. I want to point out, while we're right here, that this arm is an adjustable arm. It simply snaps in and out, and we have little marks that show that you're appropriately aligned in the right spot. And all you have to do is hold the wings and push this little arm in and out so that you get the blade in the spot that you want it to go in. So now that we know how to use the cutting tool itself, let's go to the tracks and the placement template. What we want to do is have our paper on a glass mat. This is a piece of glass that will allow the blade of the tool to glide like an ice skater on the surface that we're cutting. I'm going to just use some Hermit transfer so that I can hold my paper in place. You want some kind of removable tape so that it won't make a mark on your paper after you've cut it into the shape that you want. Now you can do this with paper or you can do this with photographs. Either way is fine. The Curvy Cutter comes with 2 tracks in each of the different shapes. I'm going to use the larger track for our sample today, but it is available in the 2 sizes. The difference from one track to the other is simply in sizing. All of the shapes are about 1/4 of an inch different from the other, so it just incrementally grows in our shapes. All right, so I have my track in place here, and we have a template, and this is a very important item because this template will show us exactly what size we're going to cut with the track. So you want to put your track down first and then place your template in place. Now if I had a photo underneath, I could see exactly where I was going to cut and decide exactly which size that I want to cut. Now it's important to take a moment and look carefully. We're going to look at the track itself. Up here in the track, in 2 spots, we have a mark on each side. We have track 1 in black, track 2 in red, and track 3 in blue. You can also see that inside on the template, we have track 1 in black, track 2 in red, and track 3 in blue. That's important because that's how we're going to place the tool onto the tracks. The cutting tool itself has little metal brackets back here that go right into the track. So right here are our posts, and that slips right into that track. I'm going to use the first or the 3rd track, the one that's the closest in. Now once I've got that in, I can see where I'm going to cut. I have left the cover on the blade, and that's really important because if I expose that blade, I will cut my template. So I want to leave the cover on as long as this template is in place. So I can decide which size I want to cut. I'm going to start with the cutting arm in the furthest out position on the blue track. So now I'm ready to expose my blade, and I've decided that this is exactly where I want to cut. I'm going to lift up the cutting arm, and the blade itself is covered by a little cover that has one side open. You simply want to slide this right off. This comes right off here, and then I'm going to take out the template. So that comes right off. The template has a little handle right here. I'm going to take that right out. So now we're going to go ahead and cut our oval. The handle of the Curvy Cutter tool is a swivel handle, so you don't have to move your whole arm around. All you have to do is just hold that handle and come right around and do your cutting. Now, if you're right-handed or left-handed, you can go either direction. It won't matter which direction you go. The blade is sharp on both sides, so it will cut either way. I have my oval cut right here. Here it is. Now I can go ahead and cut a ring. Remember how I showed you how to adjust this arm? I'm simply going to pick it up, adjust the arm, and then put the cutting tool right back into the track. Notice how I didn't move the track because I want it to cut just a little bit bigger than the previous oval that I cut. I'm going to do the exact same cutting motion, and I'm cutting a ring this time that's 1/8 of an inch larger than the shape that I cut previously. Each time I adjust that arm, I'm getting 1/8 of an inch of a ring. So that makes a nice little ring right there. Now let me show you how to replace the blade, because that is important. I'm going to bring in another tool right here, same cutting tool. All you have to do is unscrew the lid on the handle, and this is the storage container for those blades. I'm just going to dump it out into my hand. I want to leave this little plastic lid on the blade so I don't cut myself, and I am going to take that little stem of the blade and slide it right up into the adjustable arm, and there's my blade all replaced. Now I'd like to show you the packaging. These are the circle tracks. They will cut 22 circles, and they go all the way nice and big to rather small. We also have the ovals. This will cut 24 ovals, and this is the one that comes with the actual cutting tool. Then we have the squares with the rounded circles, or the rounded corners, and this will cut 22 different squares with rounded corners. Let's go look at where we have our samples. Here is our picture with our oval. When you cut a photograph into an oval, it makes it like a portrait. And then when you cut the corresponding size in cardstock, you sort of have a shadow for your photograph. So it makes a nice, prominent statement on your scrapbook page. Over here we have the squares with the rounded corners. The rounded corners are a little bit more exaggerated than what you would get with a corner rounder, so it adds some real sass to your scrapbook pages. Then we have the circles. I really like adding circles. The Curvy Cutter makes nice large circles on our pages. So here we have two circles that form the shape of a sun that make a really fun page. I hope you enjoy adding shapes to your pages with the Curvy Cutter.